Good afternoon. This is Traveling Seniors, and guess where we are at? We're in Pensacola, Florida today, and we're about to go in to check out Calagaz Photo Supply. So why don't you come along and see what it's about? Rob.
Hey Stu, welcome to Calagaz.
Oh, thank you. I hope we can get a little tour today. I know it's Traveling Seniors, and we're visiting Pensacola. And this, of course, is my favorite camera shop. So if you could show us a little bit around.
I'd love to show you what we got going on today.
Well, this has actually been a camera store in Pensacola for 50 years plus. In 2009, Ritz Camera went bankrupt and I purchased the store from Ritz Camera, and I ran it for about 4 years, and then I sold it to Leo Calagaz, who owns it now. And it's he has 2 locations, one here in Pensacola and one in Mobile, Alabama. And it's a wonderful family-owned store that's been serving the Gulf Coast for a long time. So I'm glad to be part of that.
And you handle all the cameras, right? Like Nikon, Olympus.
We are representatives of Nikon, Olympus, Sony, Fuji, and Canon, and many other brands we cover, like Low Pro, Manfrotto, Black Rapid, Magmod. I mean, I could go on. We pretty much are a full-service camera store.
So you can get anything. So you service not only the pros, but you service the amateurs or somebody just beginning photographer.
Sure, that's an interesting thing about our market now, because a lot of the non-pros, amateurs, or hobbyists are shooting on their cell phone. So we used to call that group the soccer moms. And soccer moms no longer really are a demographic for us because all they shoot on is cell phones. So we cater to people interested in photography from a hobbyist all the way up to professionals.
You deal in trade-ins, right?
Yes, we sell...
Or buy used equipment, I should say, or...
Well, we sell new cameras and represent the manufacturers that way, but we also do trade-ins and do sell used cameras. We're the Gulf Coast's largest used camera dealer, and we trade many items from $5,000 stabilizing rigs down to a $40 point-and-shoot camera and everything in between.
Well, that's cool. So you could handle just about anything that somebody's looking for. They can come in here if they're from out of town and they're looking for something for Sony or Canon or Nikon. You can handle it for them, or you can get it to them pretty fast. Right?
Absolutely. Our new cameras are certainly take care of the industry and a lot of professionals, but our used camera business is something interesting for people getting into photography. Because with a used camera, you don't have to commit to that super high-end dollar and lose all that value, because I see, a lot of people that start photography, some will fizzle out and some will advance. Some will stay the same. Well, if you advance, you need to get a better camera, and if you fizzle out, you wasted your money anyway. So by starting off with a used camera, you can not really take a big hit, and if you advance and move up, you could sell your used camera and get a better camera, and you're not really taking the big hit. Sort of like they say when you drive the car off the lot, your value goes down. Well, if you start off with a used camera to find where you're going to be, you don't have to spend all of that money.
You've not lost the value.
That's right.
Where if you buy the new body, like you said, it drops pretty fast.
Right, immediately.
Immediately, yeah. Right. Now, would you say your lenses hold the value better, though?
Yeah, lenses, the saying is that you marry your lenses and date your camera, because your lenses hold value and last a lot longer than the technology in your camera. So a lot of times you'll upgrade your camera once or twice and still be using the same lens.
You also do printing?
Yeah, we have a full service photo lab that does printing from wallet size up to posters. We can make coffee mugs and blankets and towels and any photo gift you could think of. A lot of our business is transferring over old movies and videos to DVD or to USB or to some other digital media to preserve the memories. A lot of customers come in to get their slides done, their slides scanned into digital. They tend to be people that have traveled a lot. They have a lot of slides, and we definitely will work with anybody on that kind of project.
Okay. You know that I'm a a traveling person now, and I started a new thing called the Traveling Seniors. But somebody who is traveling, is there any certain camera or type of camera you'd recommend for somebody that, was in reach? Now I use some high-end cameras, but for the ordinary traveler.
That's a great question, but it has too many answers, and let me tell you, but I'm still going to give you an answer because that's what I did,
Okay.
Stuart.
Yeah.
The big answer is that it really depends what kind of needs you have for traveling. If you're a traveler and you're looking to take some great pictures and come home with those and have good memories, and then that's one camera. If you're going to bring home stuff you want to sell, because a lot of traveler photographers do sell their artwork, and that's a different camera. So there is multiple things. But if you're talking about, let's say, maybe average traveler that is going to document their trip and enjoy,
like a blogger or something,
right, and enjoy their photo and all that. The one camera now that I lean to would be the Sony A6500.
Oh, okay.
Aside from now that's not the most expensive, and there are, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's the best camera.
No.
But there are lots of lenses available to choose from, economical and more expensive. It's a very small camera. It does 4K video if you want to do video clips in there. It is a complete package, and it's very small and light and very travelable.
And that one has the image stabilizer.
Yes, built right in the camera.
Right
So
in the
whatever
camera,
lens you
yeah,
use,
right,
it has stabilization, which is what makes it ideal for travel, because you're not always shooting in the most ideal conditions.
And you can either go for the crop sensor Sony lenses or the full frame lenses on that camera.
Yeah, the big brother for the Sony A6500 is the Sony A7 series, and that's a full frame big brother, fully loaded with options, and that's another option too. If you're into it and you want to advance your photography, you have room to go and still maintain all your lenses and maintain your system, which is the way that I look. A lot of people don't have really big systems, and you don't need a big system for travel photography, but if you want a big system, you can put it together and use different lenses, different flashes, different things like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stuff I could tell you about that, Stuart, and I'm really glad you asked me. I'm really glad, because I take pride in being a local store. I worked for a company that had 1,000 stores across the country, and there was no rule breaking, there was no accommodating the customer. I mean, we followed rules and did what we had to do. In this store, we can do whatever we think is right for the customer, and that really allows us to take care of our customers. There's a whole bunch of things that are involved in that. The most interesting thing is that in the olden days, and when I say the olden days, I'd say more than 15 years ago, the thought was that specialty stores like our store charged more. But that is absolutely not the case. If you know companies around the country like B&H or Adorama, the big internet ones, or other companies, other mom and pop, the prices on camera gear is highly regulated. The manufacturer set the price. So our price is exactly the same as everybody else's price around. So if you go shopping on the internet and you look at Best Buy or B&H Photo, that's going to be our price. Occasionally you'll find a store with a lower price, but I would tell you be very, very wary of them, because the manufacturer sets the price, and when the manufacturer sets the price, if someone else goes lower than that, they're not an authorized dealer. And buying local, there's still two more major reasons to buy local. The first major reason is that when you buy a camera from us, you get for free, you get a 2-hour basic photography class for everybody, and you get a 1-hour one-on-one for every single person that buys a camera. You can't get that on the internet.
No, you're right.
You can sit down with your camera and a person that knows your camera and go over that. So aside from the value that we have to answer questions and develop a relationship with and be your customer and we'll be your store sort of thing, besides that, there's one other big reason, and that is that the money that gets spent here locally also goes back into locally. Like my wife who works here with us, when we go out to eat, we eat at local restaurants, that money recycles through our local economy. If you go and spend $1,000 in New York, it does absolutely nothing for your schools, your roads, your local economy whatsoever. So it's very important. Cameras are all so good. Every manufacturer's camera is fantastic. Nikon is fantastic, Canon's fantastic, Sony's they're all fantastic cameras. From time to time, one will be a little bit ahead of the other. For the longest time, the Canon 5D series was the king, and they did the 5D 1, 2, 3, 4, and that they just ruled the pro industry. Then the Nikon D850, and that series camera came out, and the D850 is a very, very good camera right now. And then the Sony A7, A9 comes out, and it's a whole new game in mirrorless. So the answer to your question is, if anyone's saying which camera maker should I get, that's not as important as some of the other questions, like what are you going to do with the camera, how does it feel, are you comfortable with the menus? You know, some of those other things are going to be just as important. A lot of people think that the technology in the cell phones is going to overtake, but I can't see that happening. There's just no change for the lens and the glass and the focal length and the apertures that are provided in DSLR photography or mirrorless photography.
There are some good images being put out by some of these newer cell phones now.
Absolutely, yes.
There's no doubt about it. But can they actually do what the mirrorless and the DSLRs are doing now? I don't think so.
No, I don't think they have the capability. Otherwise, there would be no reason for a DSLR and a mirrorless already. See, in the beginning of digital photography, the race was for megapixel. How many megapixel can your camera be? And they started at 1 and 2 and 4 and 6 and 8. And now the megapixel files are so large that there's no longer a race. We are able to more than satisfy whatever megapixel we're looking to satisfy. The race now has become an ISO. And which is how well the camera functions at low light. And the cameras are getting so good at that race is almost over too. So the next thing, who knows what the next thing is going to be. I believe that we'll see the ability to change our depth of field, distribute our bokeh and things of that nature after the fact in camera. That's coming, and I mean there's going to be advances along those lines, but I think it's going to be a while to be anything major that really turns it upside down.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but can't you go onto your website and actually upload images to have them printed?
Sure. No, now, right from home, you can go online, load your pictures up, crop them, edit them, do whatever you want to do, and get them set up, and then send them to us right through our website. Then we can print them, and you can make one trip in and pick them up, but if not, we can even just ship them right to you, so you don't have to make any trips. And that could be anything from print regular 4x6 prints to 24x36 metal print. And we do have real live people here, and we have some real sweethearts that work here, not just mom and pop business that wants to take care of our customers, wants to find what our customers need and take care of them. I'm very proud of this store. I'm an old guy and I'm an old school guy, and we have an old school store in a new time frame. So I'm very excited to show you some of the things we do here or still do here.
I'll tell you what, Rob, this has been great. It's great coming in here and seeing you again.
Always a pleasure.
You know that this is where I do most all my shopping.
Always
and
a
I hope
pleasure.
others would do the same.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Stuart, and I'm really glad you came in.
Well, thank you, Rob. Appreciate that.